Good afternoon. Apologies for our delay, and welcome to the inaugural press conference of 2026 for the OSCE. We are honored to be joined by Chairman in Office, Swiss Federal Councillor and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ignazio Cassis, and Secretary General of the OSCE, Feridun Sinirlioğlu. I will keep my remarks at the top very short. I will just note this press conference will be conducted in English, and I will turn the floor in a moment to the Chairman in Office, and then we will turn the floor to the Secretary General, and then open the floor for questions. I ask that you please introduce yourselves and your outlet and keep your questions short. With that, Mr. Minister.
Thank you, Madam. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In many ways, we are back in a world that resembles 1975. A fragmented Europe shaped by tensions and spheres of influence. The rule-based order is becoming a rule-based disorder. And yet, at that time, 1975, diplomacy prevailed. That is exactly why the OSCE was created and why it still matters today. Russia's war against Ukraine has brought our organization into the most serious crisis in its history. Trust has been damaged, our capacity to act reduced, and consensus weakened. In assuming the OSCE chairpersonship this year, we have a conviction. This crisis can and must strengthen the OSCE. Our approach is simple. The OSCE must be effective, credible, and able to act when opportunities arise. With this in mind, we have to provide a platform for inclusive dialogue that contributes to cooperative security. Yes, the OSCE requires reform. But to be successful, it also needs a budget. Achieving this as soon as possible is a priority, a first necessary, indispensable step. Our main goal is clear, contributing, when conditions allow, to a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. Switzerland will work to ensure that the OSCE remains prepared to play a role if de-escalation or a ceasefire become possible. For now, attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure continue in Ukraine. Switzerland strongly condemns all these attacks. International humanitarian law must be respected at all times. This war is the greatest challenge the OSCE has faced since its creation. We must rebuild trust and go back to the spirit of Helsinki. And we must restore the meaning of consensus, not a right to veto, but a responsibility to make progress all together. The OSCE must not be a spectator. On behalf of 57 states and beyond, we have to be a credible actor for peace and security. And of course, we must be able to act. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Secretary General.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, welcome to the Hofburg. I am delighted to be here alongside the Swiss Foreign Minister today as he takes on the role of OSCE Chairman in Office. I look forward to working closely with him and with his dedicated team here in Vienna. I was particularly pleased to see Switzerland priorities being centered around their commitment to inclusive dialogue, building trust, and their emphasis on comprehensive security. I am confident that these priorities will serve the organization well at a moment of profound strain on the European security architecture. Switzerland chaired its first meeting of the Permanent Council today at a time of intense danger and growing unpredictability across the OSCE region. The ongoing war in Ukraine remains an open wound in the heart of our continent. It continues to have a devastating impact on civilians and key infrastructure, not least during the winter months. This only underscores the urgent need to end the war. Diplomatic engagement among allies, partners, and yes, adversaries matters today more than ever. I hope the ongoing diplomatic efforts will lead towards a negotiated settlement to end the war. I encourage the sides to resume talks and to agree on confidence-building measures, including the release of prisoners. In this regard, I want to stress once again my call that these initiatives should include our three OSCE officials, Vadim Golda, Maxim Petrov, and Dmitro Shabanov. I continue working on this personally. The overall security environment across the whole OSCE region is characterized by growing instability and unpredictability, including the recent use in Ukraine of destabilizing weapon systems, which represent a major escalation. This reminds us of the OSCE's unique relevance today. At a time of global existential threat, this security organization was founded to manage tensions, reduce risks, control arms, prevent crises, develop military transparency and verification mechanisms, and foster dialogue. These are important, especially at times of mistrust. Thankfully, despite the growing tensions, the OSCE continues to provide a forum for all participating states to engage, to exchange views, to hold each other to account, and to seek common ground. This is the only way that we can prevent crises from spiraling out of control. Therefore, it is vital that the organization continues to function effectively. This year, I will prioritize reforms together with the chair, with a focus on efficiency, resilience, and our core mandate of comprehensive security, following through what participating states clearly asked us, including at the last Ministerial Council. I am personally committed to working closely with you, dear Ignazio, dear Minister, and with all participating states to advance this process. The OSCE's strength lies in its inclusivity, its legitimacy, its experience, transparency, and its historical memory. It stands for the idea that dialogue, engagement, and cooperation are still possible, even and especially in the darkest times of growing mistrust, as Ignazio just stated. And that is the only way to ensure comprehensive security for all. Thank you.
Thank you. And as I repeated, please state your questions in English. Can I see a show of hands? Okay. Svetlana.
Hello, my name is Svetlana Birilo, reporting for Russian news agency RIA Novosti. I have a question for both of you. What concrete steps are planned to restore trust among all OSCE participating states, including Russia? And a question to Mr. Cassis. In light of increasing NATO military presence in Europe and the Arctic, including the Greenland region, does the Swiss chairmanship see a role for the OSCE in preventing further militarization and escalation? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Adam, for your question. First of all, I just also want to say something about the first question. It was a discussion now in the permanent committee of the OSCE, and one of our target is inclusive diplomacy. And inclusive means inclusive. It means, again, this organization has not been created for just like-minded countries, but for countries that could have conflicts within themselves. And this is the case today. But this is the only place where such a dialogue can be done, and it is therefore very important. And I called upon all participant states just at the end of the conference to be ready also for dialogues about very difficult issues where we are very uncomfortable with that, but it is necessary. The alternative is no dialogue and war. And this is just part of the first part. Yes. The second, if I understand you correctly, is what if a ceasefire or what is a peace process is going on? What is the role of the OSCE? This is the vital test of this organization. If this organization is not ready to offer its services to monitor a ceasefire, to survey, to document, and to act in this moment, then it will be difficult to defend that this organization is necessary. And this is the reason why the Secretary General has always begun last year to prepare a preparedness plan, contingency plan to intervene immediately, just to press a button within hours. And we believe that this organization has the legitimacy because Russia is a member of this organization. US are members, EU are members. So it is the platform. If we want to have inclusive diplomacy, we must be ready also to find solution in order to stop the killing of people.
Yes, you asked how we can build trust. We should stop talking past each other and start talking with each other. That means we should not only talk, but also listen. That is a message that I gave in Helsinki, actually. And I have to admit, confess, that this is not what we have today. But we have to bring it back. This is dialogue, okay? If we continue to have monologue instead of dialogue, we cannot build trust. And then we cannot also serve to the founding principles and purposes of this organization. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I had
I'm sorry, we're
also
going to take some more questions just because we are short on
the
time.
second question.
Albert.
My name is Albert Otti with DPA, German Press Agency. German Press Agency, maybe I want to follow up on what you asked. Currently, we don't only have a crisis regarding the Ukraine, but also the US or an OSCE member threatening to take control over Greenland, which would violate several international law, international legal and OSCE core principles. So I want to ask both of you what you are planning to do to stave off this crisis and to prevent an OSCE member from violating, or to prevent another OSCE member from violating core OSCE principles.
Well, in our both capacities as chairman in office and as Secretary General, we are both very attentive and we are monitoring the situation and the developments. The US is a member state of this organization. The US knows exactly what it is a violation of international law and what it is not a violation of international law. So in this very moment, we are monitoring the situation, and if something would happen, then of course we expect that the participating states of this organization will immediately ask to discuss, to deepen, and to do something. Now I am sure that every member state of this organization knows exactly if it is violating the international laws or not.
As Chair stated, of course, this is an issue that we follow very closely and attentively. But I have to also admit that this is an issue that is being dealt bilaterally at the moment. It was not brought to the attention of the organization. When it will, and this is an organization where all the parties are represented, and they have all the right to bring anything to the attention of the organization. Until that time, it is a non-issue for us, of course, because this is being taken up bilaterally, as it was done yesterday in Washington. But we are following it very closely. Thank you.
Thank you. I see two here, one here. I will go to this side of the room now.
Consul Murphy from Reuters. Just a couple of questions. Minister, you identified quite clearly what the problem is with the OSCE at the moment. It's sort of where you want to get, but I have not heard much in terms of concretely how you want to get there, apart from sort of having difficult discussions. I mean, are there new tools that new methods that you want to bring in here? Because this has been an ongoing discussion for years now at the OSCE. Is there something you plan to do differently, or what is it that you're suggesting? What's the flavor that you're bringing to this on that issue? And on a non-OSCE issue, if I may, on Iran, President Parmelin, we were sort of, or those who were sitting here were sort of listening to President Parmelin just before you came in, and he was saying that in your role representing U.S. interests in Iran, there's a channel that is open with the Iranians that is being used at the moment. So I just wanted to ask, sort of, how is that being used? Did you, for example, convey the message that President Trump was expressing, that there would be no hangings at the moment in Iran? And how do you expect the situation there to develop in the coming hours? There's a lot of concerns about military strikes, for example, in Iran.
This question goes beyond my capacity of chairman in office of this organization, and Iran is not part of the territory of the security in Europe. So I won't give an answer in my capacity of chairman in office. But of course, as Swiss foreign minister, we are attentively, again, also observing and monitoring the situation, and we are passing messages between Iran and the US, as we have been done for the last 40 years and more. But I am not aware. I mean, it's not possible, of course, to tell you more about that. The situation in Iran is terrible. You realized also that every effort that can be made in order to avoid an escalation will be made, and Switzerland will contribute to these efforts.
First questions, what are the plans differently in terms of getting the Russians on board, achieving these goals?
I'm not sure if you got your question, the second one.
So you've said that the problem is, the OSCE needs to become more able to act, and you have this problem with the sort of the lack of consensus on these issues. And you've also said, if I've understood you correctly, that Russia needs to be ready for some difficult discussions. But sort of these discussions have been going on for quite some time. So you have a year as chairman in office, and you have quite a clear goal in terms of sort of breaking this deadlock that has existed for years now at the OSCE. So my main question is, how do you plan to achieve that concretely? What are you going to do differently that those before you have failed?
Well, actually, the answer to this question was a statement of this morning of Belarus and Russia. What are their expectations? They expect this organization to be able to discuss uncomfortable questions like on the causes of the conflicts, and not just against each other, but also to be listened to and to be discussed. And we will examine if this will be possible. I think it must be possible in this organization. And secondly, is there are some other issues. It was mentioned in particular cybersecurity, that it is an important issue. And this was reasoned by many countries, among them also Russia. And we will devote to this issue conference in Switzerland in Zug this year. And it will be important also to convey to this conference Russian participants, that we will try to build trust. It means disagreeing is normal, and we of course can condemn what you are doing, and you can condemn what I'm doing, but we have to talk about. And this is really what the Secretary General said. We have not to speak about other people, but with other peoples, and this is really the way we will try to foster dialogue this year in this organization.
Thank you. I think the next question, Stephanie.
Thank you very much. My name is Stephanie Lichtenstein. I'm a freelance journalist in Vienna, focused on international organizations in Vienna. My first question would go to both of you. If you would be able to give us an update on the efforts to secure the release of the 3 OSCE officials who have been detained in Russia for more than 3 years. One of them, apparently, Maxim Petrov, has been transferred to a hospital in late October last year. Would you be able to give us an update on his health situation, maybe, and efforts to secure him and secure his release? And my second question, if I may, would go to you, Mr. Secretary General. You have now been in office for 1 year exactly. How would you describe your first 12 months as Secretary General of the OSCE? What has been your focus? What has been your priorities, and maybe also your achievements? Thank you.
About the 3 SMM officials, I am personally following this issue, and I am actually negotiating with both sides on their release. The negotiations has reached at a delicate stage, but you can be rest assured that it is my priority, and I do hope that I will be able to report soon about some concrete development, but we are not there yet. We are close, but not there yet. About the health of Maxim Petrov, I have also following that. I have been assured by the Russian side that his health is good and is being taken care of in a hospital. And this is also the information his family received. That will be constantly from the very first day I was in office. That was one of my priorities, and I will keep it as one of the priority in the days ahead. The first 1 year, of course, the challenge is to bring back the founding purpose of this organization, to turn this organization into a forum of dialogue rather than monologue. Unfortunately, we are not talking with each other, but we are talking past each other. We are repeating ourselves. This is not the way to move forward. There are concrete areas which needs to be discussed, taken up with the participation of all members, all participating states. By all, I mean all 57. There shouldn't be any exclusion of any participating state from the discussions. Today, as the chair stated, I detected certain areas which is being identified as areas where all of them, including Russia, Belarus, would like to focus on, like cybersecurity, like terrorism, counterterrorism steps, drug trafficking, the interaction between terrorism and organized crime. All these are actually transnational threats that affects each and every participating state. So we should start discussing and using this platform for these concrete things. And about other, maybe the question of our Russian friend here about the wider security discussion. This is also an issue that needs to be put high on the agenda, because we need to fix the broken security architecture, and this can only be negotiated in this organization, because we need a platform for this, and there is no other organization that can do the job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to support I just want to support what the Secretary General said. We need this organization, and this organization has 50 years of experience. This organization has principles that are not put in question by anyone, by no one of the 57 members. The interpretation diverge, but the principles are the same, and we are stick to the principles. So this is shown a huge step. Now we have to interpret the meaning of this principle and to have a more finer tuning of what it is the meaning. And I guess if we had to invent all that in order to progress, we would need 20 years. So this is really the richness of this organization.
Thank you. I see a final question here from Appa.
My name is Schubert from the Austrian Daily Der Standard. I would just have a question concerning looking back to the Ministerial Council in December 2025. So there was the delegate from the USA demanding some reforms and also budget cuts, quite harsh. So my question would be, could you give us an update on the status quo in that question? Have there been any discussions with the United States so far? Also, given that the US now left 66 other international organizations, so how do you see that? Thank you.
Yes, first of all, I'm happy that the OSCE is not in the first package of this assessment exercise of the US administration. I was trusted in that sense by Secretary of State, State Secretary Rubio in November last year. But we won't be in the second part of this assessment if we can really develop, if we adapt, if we make the necessary reforms. And in order to make them, we also, it's causality, yes and no, but we have to reduce the budget. And reducing the budget, it's mandatory then to make reforms, because you cannot pay exactly the same reducing the budget. And this exercise was one of the main topics this morning in the conference. And I have to admit that I was surprised by the general support in that sense. We have to maintain the US on board. Otherwise, this organization would lose really its importance. And many participating states are also experiencing budget reductions in their own states, including Switzerland. And so everybody is interested to increase efficiency, to go back to the roots, to focus on what it is essential in this very moment of instability, of disorder, and then to focus on that. This is the price we have to pay in order to maintain the US on board. And this morning, I realized that there is a large support in this direction.
Yes, I mean, budget is at the heart of the reform agenda, because reform and budget are interrelated. We are going to make some cuts. But what the US and others would like to see is simple. They all want the revival of the core mandate of this organization. What is this? I have repeated that at a time of global existential threat, this security organization was founded to manage tensions, reduce risks, control arms, prevent crises, develop military transparency and verification mechanisms, and foster dialogue. So these are actually tools, mechanisms, functions that we need, especially at times of mistrust. This is what we have been asked, not only by US, but by Russia and by others. And this is what the chair is also intending to bring back. And I will support of course, objective of the chair with all my power. Thank you.
Thank you both. And with that, I conclude this inaugural press conference. Thank you very much for your attendance.